Imagine boarding a plane in London,
Good morning, ma'am.
eating breakfast at 60,000 feet, and arriving in New York before your body clock could even understand what happened. For nearly 30 years, one aircraft made this possible. It wasn't just a plane, it was a symbol of speed, luxury, and the future itself. But in the summer of 2000, a horrifying disaster changed everything. This is the incredible story of Concorde. The fastest passenger airliner ever built, and the tragedy that brought it down. In the 1960s, the world was obsessed with the future. The space race was underway. Humans were preparing to walk on the moon, and aviation engineers had a bold idea. What if passenger planes could fly faster than sound? This is when Britain and France joined forces to create something revolutionary. The project became known as Concorde. The name means agreement or harmony, representing cooperation between the two nations. After years of development and billions of dollars in costs, Concorde finally entered commercial service in 1976. And it was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Creating a passenger jet capable of flying at Mach 2 was an enormous engineering challenge. At those speeds, almost every aspect of aviation changes. Air resistance increases dramatically, temperatures rise, fuel consumption skyrockets, and even small design flaws can become catastrophic. Engineers developed the Concorde with a distinctive delta wing design. Unlike traditional aircraft wings, the delta wing provided stability and efficiency at supersonic speeds. One of the Concorde's most recognizable features was its drooping nose. During takeoff and landing, pilots needed better visibility. The nose could tilt downward for a clear view of the runway. Once airborne, it would raise back into position for maximum aerodynamic performance. Then there were the engines. The Concorde used 4 Rolls-Royce and Snecma Olympus engines. These engines produced enormous thrust and allowed the aircraft to cruise comfortably at Mach 2.04. That's approximately 2,180 kilometers per hour, or 1,354 miles per hour. At cruising speed, passengers could literally chase the sun. Flying westward across the Atlantic, it was possible to arrive in New York earlier than the local departure time in London. It felt almost like time travel. To understand how extraordinary the Concorde was, let's compare it to modern airliners. A typical Boeing 747 cruises at around 900 kilometers per hour. An Airbus A380 flies at roughly the same speed. The Concorde, more than twice as fast.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, we're through Mach 1, the speed of sound, no bumps, no bangs, Concorde.
Thank you very much.
Mach 2, twice the speed of sound, which with very little wind up here today, corresponds to a speed over the Atlantic of 1,350 miles an hour. A mile in every 2 3/4 seconds, faster than a rifle bullet.
The journey from London to New York typically takes around 7 to 8 hours on conventional aircraft. The Concorde completed the trip in about 3.5 hours. In some cases, even faster. In 1996, a Concorde completed a transatlantic flight from New York to London in just 2 hours, 52 minutes, and 59 seconds, a record that still stands today. The aircraft usually cruised at an altitude of around 60,000 feet. Most commercial jets fly around 35,000 to 40,000 feet. At Concorde's altitude, passengers could actually see the curvature of the Earth. The sky appeared noticeably darker than normal. It was a flying experience unlike anything else. Despite its technological brilliance, Concorde faced serious limitations. It carried only around 100 passengers. Its engines consumed enormous amounts of fuel. Maintenance costs were exceptionally high. And because of sonic boom restrictions, it could only operate supersonically over oceans. As oil prices rose and airlines focused on efficiency, Concorde became increasingly difficult to justify economically. Many airlines initially placed orders. Most eventually canceled them. In the end, only 20 Concordes were ever built, including prototypes and test aircraft. But then, on July 25, 2000, disaster struck. Air France Flight 4590 departed Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport, bound for New York. Moments after takeoff, the aircraft hit a strip of metal that had fallen from another plane. A tire burst. Debris punctured a fuel tank. Fuel ignited. Unable to gain sufficient speed and altitude, the aircraft crashed into a hotel. All 109 people on board lost their lives, along with 4 people on the ground. It was the only fatal accident in Concorde's operational history. The fleet was grounded. Although engineers implemented safety modifications and Concorde eventually returned to service, public confidence had been shaken. Although Concorde returned to service in 2001, following extensive safety upgrades, the aviation world had changed. The demand for premium air travel declined in the years after the September 11th attacks, and the aging aircraft became increasingly expensive to operate and maintain. By 2003, both Air France and British Airways had reached the same conclusion. Concorde's extraordinary journey was coming to an end. For nearly 3 decades, the aircraft had carried passengers across the Atlantic at twice the speed of sound, turning what once seemed impossible into a daily reality. But as operating costs rose and newer, more efficient aircraft entered service, the economics of supersonic travel became harder to justify. Thousands of aviation enthusiasts gathered at airports around the world to witness the moment. For many, it wasn't just the retirement of an aircraft. It was the end of a bold vision for the future of air travel. As Concorde touched down for the last time, an era came to a close. The dream of crossing oceans faster than the speed of sound had captivated generations, and no passenger airliner has matched Concorde's speed since. Its engines fell silent, but its legacy never did. If you enjoyed this look back at one of aviation's greatest achievements, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which aircraft you'd like to see featured next. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.